Hi, everyone. Coach Sullivan here with MJS Coaching Football. I hope you subscribe to my channel first and foremost. And secondly, I just completed my 38th year coaching football. I was a defensive coordinator, but I've also been an offensive and special teams coordinator, as well as a head coach at both the collegiate and high school levels. In today's presentation, what I'd like to talk to you about is how in our match quarters base coverage that we call Gray 4. So if you've seen the premise presentation in the in the present in the easy for me to say in the playlist, okay, then you know what the 4 represents. So I'm not going to get into that today, but as I go through it, I'm pretty confident you'll figure out who the 4 are and what it means. But how we defend against what we call Dakota double slant concept from our 2-man route concept, okay? So, yes, we are all reading number 2, but then the 2-man route concept combines the route of number 1 with number 2's route, hence the 2-man route concept. So, today, this is about what we call Dakota, double slant. Okay? So, the key terms for today, it's always going to start with surface, just the way we present it with our players, just brings home the point. It begins and ends with the surface, because if you don't read it, more often than not, you're going to be wrong. And then read number 2 tells you what to do. Again, same thing. And today, number 2 is running a slant route, which is he's inside hard, under 10. So how do we react to that? Double slant combo. We're going to learn about the detached outside linebackers way to defend it, the attached outside linebackers way to defend it, the corners way to defend it, the safety's way to defend it, as well as the inside linebackers way to defend it, right? It's almost like karaoke to a degree. So I have the offense here, the routes in black, okay? When I get to the defensive reactions to it, I'll do that in red. But first thing I want to do is start with the surface, okay? So this is a 3-step pass concept. All righty. And yes, it can also be an RPO as well, but we're not going to get into RPOs. This is just a straight 3-step today in this presentation. So granted, they can cut you or they can hard set. Understand that. They can full slide, man slide, right? All the different protections. That's not the focus here. So all I'm going to have them do is hi-hat and hard set, hi-hat and hard set, hi-hat and hard set, hi-hat and hard set. Okay, hi-hat, hard set. Back's in the protection. So it's a 6-man protection. Okay? The only thing I will talk about when it comes to the coverage, protection, is when the quarterback's in the gun. Not always, but unless you got a real tall guy, they're more likely to hard set. Because when they cut you, if they get you, great. But if they miss, there's more than likely going to be a deflected pass, or the quarterback's going to have to, what we say, jerk the mule, bring it down because he can't see where he's trying to throw the football, right? Because the quarterback's heels are at 4 or 5, it's a catch and throw, so they're more likely to hard set. There's not going to be, in all likelihood, a check down to the back, so it's usually a 6-man protection for us, assuming they're not in an empty set, okay? So that's it for the protection. So the next thing I want to talk to you about then is the read number 2, the slant. Okay, remember the 3 things that the number 2 can do. Go vertical. Remember, 10 yards is the delineation point. He hits 10, it's a vert. He can go outside under 10 or inside under 10. Boom, done. I mean, offensive coordinators got 156 different pass routes. I mean, I get that. At the end of the day, he goes vertical, in or out. Okay, that's how we teach it. Again, try and simplify something that when you do that, you realize it's not that complicated after all. Okay, so 2 is going in. So we have a detached 2 and we have an attached 2, tight end. Okay, they're very different. So when I cover how outside linebackers and inside linebackers and defend this, when the tight end does it, and it's more of like a crossing mesh route, understood, okay? But there's a reason for it, okay? Again, ties that in with the route of one. So be patient and we'll get the differences here, okay? But yeah, it's not necessarily a slant. Understood. All right, so the slant route. Again, the spacing we're going to assume is normal, okay? Just let's make some assumptions here. Number one, slant's going to be deeper because in this case, he's on the line, two's off. So his is a 1 or a 3 step most likely. Number two, same thing. Okay, every offense has its preference, so I'm not going to get into all those details. All righty? So 2 is running a slant. How do we defend when 2 is inside under 10? Hence, slant, right? Well, we're going to start off with our detached outside linebacker, who in this case is the dime, okay? Going surface to 2, okay? He gets the hi-hat, so he knows it's pass. His eyes go to 2. His eyes are at 2. He's already cut. He's inside of number 2, but he's working out to number 1. They always work out to number 1. See, that's where the spacing of 2 comes in to answer that question out of fairness. If 2 is a little tighter, then the dime will be closer to him. So remember the detached rule is 5 yards or more from the tackle. So if number 2's at 5 or at 6, there's a chance that the dime can get hands on number 2 and or at least force number 2 to make some moves and screw up the timing, okay? If number 2 is, say, 8, 9, 10 yards away from the tackle, that ain't going to happen, okay? So in this, to cover that situation, in this scenario, number 2 is out there, okay, because they're trying to spread the field so they can open up the windows inside. Remember how receivers do it. If they're running an outside route, they typically get a little bit closer to the tackle box. If they're running an inside route, they widen out to the sidelines, right? So that's the situation right now. They're wider. So now, the dime, okay, works out to 1. He sees 1 is to him. Remember, the 2 scenarios for the detached is he will either baseball turn. So if he's working this way, he will rip and snap. We say rip the elbow, snap the head. Rip and snap. Have buzzwords. Keep it simple. Rip and snap. Rip is the elbow, snap the head around. Rip and snap. He will baseball turn, and is already in a cut position of number 1. Or if he's somehow held up for any reason, doesn't matter, he might pivot back, meaning he's here, pivot without ever putting his back to the quarterback. So the pivot would be on the outside foot, pivoting back, being in the same cut position, okay? The attached. So in this case, the rover. Remember, everything starts when they're on a tight end, knockback, okay? This is a different body type. This is a kid who's a bigger kid, can play against the tight end, defeat drive blocks, and all that stuff. Starts here. Now, balls for you, it's over here. Okay? I'm sorry, over here. So now, knockback. He's working in here. The term is deliver. Deliver with the offhand. Okay? So when he goes inside, he now has outside leverage on the inside route, or release in this case, which means deliver him. Deliver him with hands on, so you're knocking him off his pins a little bit to the inside defender. Deliver the route. The offhand jam, if he is working to my right, then I'm going to deliver him with my left. Okay? So I'm knocking back. He's coming inside. I'm going to deliver him with my left. And what helps is your safeties, who, as I tell them, you got the panoramic view, dude. You're at 12. You see everything, so you better be making these calls before anybody, including pass, right? Safety calls. They better be screaming, pass. So that helps him. He knows he's delivering. And then after he delivers, expand out to number one, right? And he's already in the cut position. Okay, so for the first safety call, it better be pass. The second safety call better be Dakota. And this is why. Okay, especially on the side of the attached outside linebacker, the guy in the tight end. Okay, pass Dakota. Okay, and that'll bring in the safety technique. Okay, this tells the rover his angle in terms of cutting and getting underneath number one slant. Normally, he's working more for width. Well, if he does that, there's going to be an open window there. Okay, even with the corner technique, which is coming up, there's still going to be the chance to hit the slant in front of the corner. And in between, the outside and inside linebacker. See, this is why we teach it in two-man routes. On this side, it's not a true slant. So you might think, well, what the hell are they running it for? They're clearing out the inside linebacker, making the window even bigger. So if we don't get a Dakota call, there's going to be a window there. That's going to be tough for the corner. You make a Dakota call, safety. Okay, you make that Dakota call. Now, after delivering number two to the Mike linebacker in this case, I'm going to put the rover in red. After delivering, he's going to more or less kind of come straight back as he gets his eyes to number one and get himself in that window. So now on the fly, both the quarterback, if they think they've already determined that's where they're going to go there, because it's that quick, it's got to be a catch and throw, so it's got to be a pre-snap decision by the quarterback. He's got to figure out how to throttle down and him not, but that's tough. Okay, so that's why that safety makes a Dakota call. It really helps with that window there. Okay, so now I'm going to actually go with the boundary first since we're on this side. Okay, boundary, and both sides are the same with the tweak differences. Deliver and ride, number one slant. Deliver and ride, deliver and ride, deliver and ride. It's called with an offhand jam. Okay, so the term deliver. Again, in the match quarters on whiteboard playlist, see the Great Florida premise. It's all in there. Deliver means you have outside leverage on an inside route. The corners are lined up outside. It's an inside route. That's their leverage, right? You got to teach kids what their leverage is and how to understand their leverage. So now, when I'm outside versus an inside route, slant in this case, I got to deliver it. And what that means, we always talk about be within striking distance for starters. Don't backpedal. I watch tape after tape after tape of high school kids in recruiting, and all I see them are pedaling. And what you're doing is you're creating space. And you can't make a play on the ball or receiver when you got space. Okay? It's not a man technique, even in zone, where defense is trying to be in striking distance so we can make a play on the ball or a tackle. Offensive receivers are trying to create separation, right? Well, we're trying to teach our kids to keep within striking distance, the opposite of separation. So deliver and ride is a technique that you can drill every day because it's one quick zit step. You see twos inside. Now, when you see one's running a slant, you're going to plant and drive on that. And the offhand is, okay, I'm on the left. He's going to my right. My offhand is my left hand. Okay? He's running away from it. He's running to my right. My offhand is my left hand. Over here, he's running to my left. My offhand is my right hand. Okay? So we're going to deliver and ride number one slant. So that involves what we call plant and drive. You only take one quick walk zit. You zit, walk, butt the boundary, boom. Now you're in a position to plant and drive. Everything starts with a walk pedal. walk pedal. And then you got to match the tempo of the receivers. These are all drill playlists. I mean, there's going to be playlists and presentations galore. Okay. But walk pedal, boom, plant and drive, whether it's T-step, road runner, all the different techniques. And then you're going to get on what we call the upfield shoulder. So if I'm the receiver, I'm looking in here, right, like this. My upfield shoulder is this one facing the end zone. So I get in position so my head is here. I can see in front of where the receiver's going. Okay, sorry about that, a little technical difficulties here. I can see where the receiver's going, right? And my offhand is on the hip of the receiver. If I put my hand anywhere else, they're going to throw the flag. So plant and drive that offhand on the receiver's hip. So now the ball should be thrown here. I mean, if he throws it on the back hip, the receiver's going to make a great catch. And then you kind of did your job there. But then your right hand is in a position to knock the ball down because you're not going to make a pick in that case. Okay? So that's what's meant by deliver and ride with the offhand jam. Over here, no different. All right, zit step, walk pedal, plant and drive, deliver and ride. See, everything rhymes. Plant and drive, deliver and ride. Plant and drive, deliver and ride. Okay? And it all comes down to striking distance. Don't create space. So that's how field corner does it. The boundary corner does it. All right? So now we're at the safeties. I love this. This is great stuff. First of all, safeties. Starts here. Surface. They show hi-hat. Eyes to 2. Surface to 2. Surface to 2. Surface to 2. Surface to 2. Okay, both safeties. Sit and zit. They read his pass. Now they confirm 2. He's inside. They've got to see with peripheral vision. You're at 12 yards. You shouldn't have to take all kinds of time and be robotic about it. You screamed pass, and then you screamed Dakota. Okay, Dakota, Dakota, Dakota. So now the back door. When 2's inside, it's an automatic. Safety is what we call backdoor, which means they don't move. They confirm whether or not 1 is vertical. Okay? They confirm whether or not 1 is vertical. So they're here. Boom. Boom. That's what we call the backdoor technique. And when we get to a 2 vertical concept, a 1 vertical, with 2 inside, backdoor concept, we'll teach you what the safeties do then. But when 1's inside, they're just sitting and zitting, sitting and zitting, sitting and zitting, okay? And then what they do, both, is they plant and drive. In the case of a detached 2, they drive on number 2. In the case of an attached 2, they drive the window, which in essence is number 1. Okay? Again, plant and drive, plant and drive, plant and drive, plant and drive. But 2's inside. The first thing is for safeties, backdoor. Remember, they mirror the release of 2. So they're not going inside, ever. So the backdoor tells them, backdoor, think the guy, quote unquote, behind you, number 1. Okay, that's the backdoor. Number 1. Reminder, check 1. Check 1. Check 1. Okay? And so what we get, which will tie in the last part of this with the inside linebackers, is we get a high-low on both slants. In the case of the detached, we'll cover the attached second. So here, the inside linebacker, right? They step up, surfaces pass, pivot, 2, 2's coming to them. Woo! They get all excited. Bang! Go meet him. Go meet him. Cut, it means run through his inside shoulder. And as you approach number 2, okay, read his head. If his eyes get big and his hands go up, turn your head and find the football. But don't run looking at the quarterback. Okay, shoot, undercut the window. with the safety planting and driving on 2 on the top, backer cutting, there's the high-low on number 2. On number 1, with the outside linebacker expanding and either baseball or pivoting underneath, and the corner planting and driving and delivering and riding number 1, over under on number 1 slant. Okay, so we got a high-low over under on both slants when it's detached. On the attached side, okay, here comes number 2, and you're hearing Dakota. So the Mike linebacker pivots. We still tell them, go meet them, but it's going to be a lot shorter. It's going to happen real fast. So you're going to be able to get hands on, then undercut, and then the key term is there, eye the hip. Eye is hip. Eye is hip. Because this is the one that has the threat of turning that way. Quick pump fake, a look off by the quarterback with every intention of trying to hit the tight end on a double move up the field. So your Mike linebacker has to eye that hip, slap near wrist, so if it turns up the field, we've got a guy covering him. Okay, and that's the Mike linebacker. Okay? So yeah, I get pretty excited about this because it plays out this way. It's not just whiteboard stuff. This happens. It plays out in real time in a real football game. So yeah, I get pretty excited about it. Again, 2018, we were ranked number 10 in the country in pass defense. When 2017, we were ranked number 22 in the country. This works, okay? So as I mentioned at the beginning, please subscribe to my channel. And any questions at all, CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com, because I would love to talk football with you.